We are here at the 7th European Aniridia Conference in Stockholm, Sweden. 3 days of work to talk about the future of treatments and surgical technique, innovation and also research on Aniridia. In this moment we are together with Janelle Collins, who is board member at Aniridia North America. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me here.
So Janelle, out of the records, you said us that this is your first Aniridia Europe conference, and how was gone this conference according to you? What are your feedbacks about all the topics discussed and also all the people met during these days?
Well, I could stand here and talk for probably an hour, but I will say it has been so delightful.
Too much people, too much topics.
Well, you know, Ivana said at the end that her brain was full, her heart was full, and I feel that way too. You know, there was so many great topics discussed, so much good clinical related information disseminated, and just to meet everybody here has been absolutely delightful. There's so many here that I've been friends with online for a long time. To get to meet them in person and actually give them a hug and actually get to spend time together and discuss things and just increase our collaboration has been absolutely amazing.
So moreover, this year we had 177 attendees, and obviously the most of them were medical doctors, researchers, clinicians, specialists, also from US, for example, Peter Netland and James Laudersdale, for example, with great researches. According to you, what are the main or the most important points that you, some points that you bring at home, so some takeaways from the conference?
Sure. You know, somebody said at the beginning of the conference that there is power in collaboration. And I really feel like this showed that power of the collaboration, right, between North America and the various countries all in Europe working together. I think one huge takeaway was the huge discussion that people are having about how do we really refer to aniridia? You know, what should the name be? Is it a syndrome? Is it a spectrum? Is it...
This is a huge question during the conference. So according to you, is a syndrome, is a spectrum, is just a disease?
My opinion?
Also.
Well, I certainly think if syndrome is defined by more than one body syndrome or symptom or body system, then we certainly have a syndrome, right? But within a syndrome, I think you can have a spectrum of how it appears in individuals. So how do we name it? I have no idea. I'm going to leave that for the experts. But I love the fact that, you know, Jim Lauderdale and Peter Netland and Neil Legali and so many of the scientific people from Europe are on board with let's have that discussion and let's, you know, develop a group and let's figure out what we're going to say. I love that we're collaborating between North America and Europe to figure it out.
Also because in this way we can look forward to the future, to a better future, and also a future of research. And under this point of view, looking for the future, you have had also a meeting with Aniridia Europe as a representative of Aniridia North America in order to create a better collaboration between us and in order to create something new for the future. So what are the main highlights of this meeting?
Okay. Well, there were, I'd say, 3 major things that we really discussed moving forward. One of them was working together once the European guidelines come out to kind of talk through them to be able to use those as a springboard then as we look at what are the gaps in knowledge and how can we work together in those gaps to try to start filling them out, you know, whether it's on our end, your end, both together. So that was one big one. A second one was we discussed from a patient perspective, looking at education for our kids with aniridia and understanding like developing maybe guidelines or templates for people, like what can they ask for their children, what would be good for their kids, whether it's, you know, in first grade when they're 6 years old or whether it's when they're 12 or when they're 16, trying to help so that people who maybe are in countries where they don't have some of those resources as easily available, we can help them determine what can help their kids, you know, so like to maybe just develop some standard answers for that. we feel like working all together, that could be really useful.
About the kids, this is a topic that I feel so much, because I think that if we can create like a bridge between our generation and the next generation, and we can have not just a better future, but we can build really something that can do it in the times. So I think this is the most important thing that an association can do for the people.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the very practical things that's maybe non-medical, but still very important,
Yes.
you know, in life.
Obviously, it's important also the medical side, but
Right. Both things are important.
yeah, absolutely.
For sure. And then the third thing we discussed is that Aniridia North America is getting ready to launch the IRIS Aniridia Patient Registry. And so we were helping, to discuss what that is, what does it look like. It will be GDPR compliant, so it will be compliant with European, privacy regulations. And then we discussed what are the challenges of, doing this but also the importance of if we can gather data from 2,000 people instead of 200 here and 300 there. This will be available to any researchers with IRB approval, so it does not matter, where on the globe they live. They'll be able to access this data. So just the excitement of us being able to launch that, but understanding that it really will be useful to everybody. It's not just for North America. So it's an exciting new thing.
And we hope we both can reach this result, because we think is so important. Thank you for being with us and for your spotlight on this.
Thank you so much for meeting with me, Matteo.